Hit me, baby, one more. Oh. What? Tenacious D should have a cover album. This is me before seeing Kung Fu Panda 4, and this is me after. Kind of like my Oppenheimer review, I want to try talking about what I want to see from Kung Fu Panda 4, and then tell you how it is. Every Kung Fu Panda movie has the easiest jokes and simplest characters ever. Boy, do I have a lot to say about that. But we still laugh our asses off because they're such lovable characters with identifiable motivations, especially Po, who's still the best part of this movie. 8 years later, Jack Black hasn't missed a beat. He's just as energetic and charming as ever. And for being a complete goofball, he surprisingly never learns the same lesson over and over again. He's constantly evolving as a character, and even though this technically isn't the first time he's learning how to be someone's teacher, hopefully it can be a change of pace working alongside criminals where he can gain the exact same lesson that everyone else learned about him in the first film. Not to judge based on appearances, people can change if they put their minds to it, that sort of thing. What makes this mentorship different from before is that in the third one, it was all about Po teaching self-defense and wisdom to those who wanted and needed his help. Here, he's giving moral lessons to someone who doesn't believe in morals to begin with, something he doesn't believe he's ready for, and is only the hardest thing he's ever done just because he's always been surrounded by people who knew the difference between right and wrong, whether they actually believed in it or not. So it actually does make sense for him to teach the exact same lesson to Zhen over and over again. Every time she steals something, he takes it and puts it back, even if it does land him in trouble just because it's the right thing to do. And that level of patience that Po has towards her that she slowly starts to reciprocate actually ties into the themes in the movie that I was extremely worried about going in. Okay, so the basic plot of this movie revolves around Po having to team up with these criminals in order to defeat the Chameleon. And again, there can be a good message about Po learning how to give second chances to people and these criminals taking better steps to reevaluate themselves. But kids' movies these days have a weird look on morality, and the filmmakers have said in interviews that they think Po looks at the world very much in a black and white manner, and yeah, he definitely does, compared to Awkwafina, who is a morally gray character. And I've seen so many kids movies lately that have made black and white morals look outdated and naive, which is incredibly hypocritical considering how much they try and justify morally gray characters doing incredibly god-awful things and sending bad messages to kids. Please do not go down this route, because looking at the world in a black and white way is considerably harder, takes more effort, and makes you a better person than just going, depends on the point of view of your morality. No, life is that way, but people do not have to work that way. Thank God it does not go that route. Granted, they do have scenes that point out that having black and white morals can lead to you trusting the wrong people and getting betrayed, but that is a true statement, and the movie is quick to reply that you still can be more cautious and forgiving to those who are willing to repent as long as you use proper insight and judgment. And I do like the fact that this movie takes shots at gray morals for making people much more cynical and lonely because they're so unwilling to have faith in people that they become too dependent on themselves. That's different. That's not something you see in a kids movie that often these days. DreamWorks ain't Disney, but they spare no expense in making these movies look utterly gorgeous. It's insane how much beautiful animation these films have, coming from the landscapes, the designs of the characters, and those insanely energetic action sequences. Which is why when you look at the budget for this one compared to the original trilogy, you wonder if they've either become more efficient at what they're doing or they're taking a cheapskate route. I'm happy to say that it's gotten more efficient. Everything I've just mentioned looks super detailed, bright and colorful. There's even some darker, more dramatic visuals that give some weight to each scene, even if you can see the story beats coming a mile away. I've heard they've gone for a little bit more of an anime-inspired look when it comes to the action sequences, and that can make them more energetic and even funnier than before, and that's really a high bar to accomplish. They're little touches, but they make a huge difference. The anime-inspired stare-downs, build-up, and takedowns make each fight scene all the more impactful, energetic. It has some really creative choreography that they like to show off through longer takes of Po and Zhen flipping and maneuvering through different obstacles to get away from the hordes of soldiers that they face in this film. The climax is more emotional than it is physical, and at first it was a little anticlimactic, but once the emotional payoff is revealed, it actually does make plenty of sense. Awkwafina as his partner is worrisome, to say the least. And look, I'm a Gilbert Gottfried fan. We all have that one actor or comedian who is loud and high-pitched, but you don't care because what they're saying is funny. Awkwafina's just not a good example of that for me, but I can acknowledge that she is talented. In keeping with the message of the franchise, here's hoping that she is given a good character, a good teen dynamic where she pisses off Po the same way that Po has pissed off Shifu in the past, and yeah, you know what? That's really all I can hope for. The biggest surprise in this movie was that Awkwafina is tolerable. She doesn't scream off the top of her lungs, her voice doesn't sound like she smokes 2 packs a day, she doesn't rap. And even though she's technically the one guiding Po on his journey, she's the real student of this film. And I can't say her character has anything unique about her. She's the typical thief with a heart of gold who doesn't trust anyone and is willing to screw you over in the middle, but can have a change of heart and decide to help in the very end. I really don't think I'm giving anything away here because the movie makes no effort in hiding. No, I shouldn't say that. The movie thinks it's writing a brand new character, but it really isn't. I have a tattoo of a character who went for the exact same arc, but there were more sacrifices and dramatic journeys that she had to go through, mainly because it was a TV show, but I'm getting really off track here. So yeah, you can predict every plot twist that happens to her, but not gonna lie, I am kind of a sucker for this character trope just because it's a very endearing one. She's so used to having people backstab her all the time, which is how she justifies backstabbing others, that when Po literally offers half a sandwich out of the kindness of his heart, all she can think of is, why? What's the catch? What happens if I eat it? I'm onto you. And that's not a joke. Like, she literally means that. That's what little faith she has in, I don't know, animal kind? That when she's forced to interact with someone who feels morally obligated to put himself before others repeatedly, even when it does him no good in the end, it really is eye-opening for her. You can genuinely feel the stakes of this character no matter how predictable it is, even by Kung Fu Panda standards. The same goes to the insane amount of new side characters in this who are all replacing the original Furious 5, which comes across as a little politicized, if you know where I'm going with, but then again, I like these actors a lot more than Awkwafina on face value, and the little details I know about their character designs, their physical features, actually does sound very creative. Not only do I feel bad for the Furious 5 who are literally in one scene and one scene only, which is the end credits, and they have no dialogue whatsoever, when in reality, them and Shifu, who is in the movie as Po's inner voice, and he does get a couple good laughs, should have went with Po on this journey with him. I also feel bad for the brand new characters because they feel criminally underutilized. What worked about the comedy and the side cast in the original trilogy was that the jokes tied into the characters' personalities. What they said is something that they would naturally do. These brand new characters do not have jokes, they don't have personalities, they have really forced running gags that even when they're funny, they just hit you over the head with it, and it gets old so damn fast, which is a real damn shame because there are still some clever jokes. One of my favorite bits is about this rabbit who is stirring a stew that he's being cooked in. There's one character who is a fish that can pirate a ship, and I won't spoil how he pirates a ship because genuinely it is so ingenious that I thought he was going to be in the movie for more than 5 minutes, but no, he's only in it for 5 minutes. Honestly, I think this is the kind of role that Huy Quan retired from acting from in the first place because he gets nothing. We get more screen time of these rabbits who are obsessed with blood and violence, or this random subplot with James Hong and Bryan Cranston as Po's dads who are chasing after him the entire time out of fear for their son. And I get why it's in the movie, but there are so many repetitive scenes of them just going, what if Po's in danger? We need to help. We are such terrible parents. Why couldn't we stop him? Screen time that could have went to, you know, the Furious 5, Master Shifu, the villain of this movie, because Viola Davis as the Chameleon is so fucking boring. She is a chameleon who can shapeshift and absorb kung fu abilities of other kung fu masters. And there are maybe like 1 or 2 scenes where she's actually shape-shifting to trick people, to spy on them, all the things that you would want from a shape-shifting character. But no, she spends the majority of the movie just walking around in a circle explaining how evil she is. If she was on the same level of over the top as she was in Songbirds and Snakes, it might have worked, but no, she tries to be subtly sneaky, and it just... there's no impact whatsoever. There's nothing intimidating about her. She's basically Magica without any charisma or comedy whatsoever. I think there was one joke, and again, it goes on forever because they just keep repeating it over and over again. Kung Fu Panda 4 was an absolute mess, but I can't say I didn't enjoy it. The acting, the animation, the action sequences, the morals in the movie are just as good as the original trilogy, but the weaknesses carry over and have just gotten more apparent, and it's clear that they have run out of ideas at this point. Allegedly, this franchise is supposed to have 6 movies, and the fact that it took 8 years to come up with this exact script is worrisome. So I can't say that it was a bad movie, but it was disappointing, and if I were you, I would wait till this was on streaming to check it out. In any case, guys, thanks as always for watching. Let me know in the comments below what you thought of Kung Fu Panda 4 or Tenacious D's excellent cover of Baby One More Time. Be sure to like and subscribe, check me out on Patreon and buy me a coffee, and I'll see you all in the next video. Take care.